Live.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Cristabel Huerta. Today we will present our next webinar session about lighting for livestock, understanding light intensity and light distribution. Today I'm very excited because we are presenting from our new HATO studio. So I hope you enjoy this session as well as we will do. Today we will focus on two aspects of lighting that we talk in general for the different applications in the different livestock farms. This time is only about light intensity and light distribution. We will touch certain aspects that we have been talking in the previous sessions. That was like a spectrum, color of lighting, CRI, and so on. So if you are in the poultry sector, a pig sector, for cattle, dairy cattle, for sure, this webinar will be very interesting for you. So here we will learn about how animals perceive light and see their surroundings, also how light intensity influences animal behavior, and with the correct light distribution, you can achieve better results in the farm. So let's begin. In the meantime, people keep joining, so I will give only a short introduction about HATO. As you know, this year we are celebrating our 50 years anniversary. And with our tagline that you see in the slide, improving life through brightness, is the essence of HATO. This is how I can sum up what we are. So HATO, improving, is about continuous improvement and development of innovative lighting solutions that we present into the livestock farm. That always going the extra mile for our partners. Improving life is having a responsible farming, high animal welfare that will always help you to facilitate your daily activities, operations in the farm, to get the desired behavior of your animals, and of course, having better results. So it's not only improving life of the animals, but as well of the farmer, and at the end you will get farm results. Brightness, of course, is not only because we are suppliers of lighting solutions, but because we bring this knowledge with the people of the sector that we have been gathering along these 50 years in the different sectors. Most experienced poultry, but we have been growing with the years to pigs, other kind of animals, cattle, horses, all different livestock farms. So today we will continue with our session of light intensity and light distribution. So here is a poll to start to get to know you, to also get your insights and see what are you in understanding with light intensity and light distribution. So the first poll is about light intensity. So what impact does light intensity have on animal behavior? The single choice question. So the options are A, no impact is observed. B, varied light intensity simulate specific behaviors. And C, greater intensity yields give superior results. So you can choose one answer. What do you think is the best for you, or what you understand light intensity has an impact or not on animal behavior? You will see in your screen or in your device the poll that has popped up where you can select the correct option. All right, so we see that people have answered. So the correct answer would be the B, which is indeed varied light intensity simulate a specific behaviors. With that, we mean that you can have lighting or understand lighting as an extra tool to manage animal behavior or the desired behavior in the farm if you use correctly. So option C, greater intensity yields, can give you superior results, but it's not always the case. So that depends on the application, on the type of housing, how is light distribution in the house. So along this presentation, we will learn about it. Okay, so let's go a little bit with the basic theory on how do animals perceive light. In this slide, yeah, you see the chicken, because poultry is the most sensitive kind of animal while perceiving lighting. All animals or organism has certain influence in their growth through lighting. So we need to understand how every animal perceives light, and we have learned that in the previous webinars. If you still would like to know more about animal vision or other topics, don't hesitate to contact me. We can go further with it. But here I put the basics. So with poultry and other animals, light always goes through the eye. And that's what gives behavioral responses. And that depends, of course, on how is the called photoreception, how the cones and the rods are in the eye, how many do they have, and how many colors do they perceive, how wide do they perceive that spectrum of light, because that is, if we provide a light that simulates daylight, the natural daylight, we can provide a wider spectrum of light, improving their vision. And with that, they can perceive better their surroundings. They can find feed and water. When we give enough light intensity, they can perceive the surroundings, and even between the animals themselves, they can recognize each other. So it is important to adapt the light according to their needs. So which color of light, that is a broader spectrum of light, correct CRI to improve vision, and so on. With poultry, they also perceive light through the skull. With other animals, the light also goes through the pineal glands, which is like an extra light sensor that they can also perceive light. And that is how it's called the photostimulation, because it influences in animal behavior, in their biorhythm, and the way that they can increase in performances, or to create a more natural behavior. And then you would see a change in growth, in fertility, and so on. So it is very important that you give the right light intensities according to the application, the type of housing, and the type of animal, of course. Right, so this is a bit of the background. Now we go to the next slide that talks about light intensity. So as I was saying, correct usage of light intensity simulates natural behavior. So the light intensity is the amount of light output of a lamp. Okay, so and that optimal light intensity varies by type of house, location, breed, and others. And that is how we learn from the light management of the genetic lines. And those light programs looks a bit complicated. Here we will not go through it, because that depends on every genetica, and that you need to follow the program to increase the performance of the birds and to get the productivity that you want to get, right? So here we will learn how to build that optimal light climate. So when following that light program, you get the right light intensity at the right place, and then that really influences on animal behavior and productivity. So for instance, in a poultry house, to calm an active flock, then you will decrease light intensity. If you want to activate the flock, then you will increase the light intensity. If you are having issues like pecking, then you have to check if within other factors, lighting is not being annoying to the birds. Maybe it is light too intense that is causing pecking. We were talking before about color lighting in previous sessions, and for instance, applying red or a warmer light color, warm white, then you can also decrease pecking. So that is how light is also being a tool to manage your flock. Measure the light intensity in the ways animals perceive it. So again, with poultry, they are very sensitive to light. So it's not talking only on lux levels or foot candle, but also on galley lux. So how poultry is perceiving higher intensity than humans perceive it. For cattle or pigs, it's a bit more similar to humans. And there, yeah, we go on the light intensity, but we have to assure that it is really achieving on the feeder lane, on the resting areas, the correct light intensities. And we will see it here in some examples on the type of house. Okay, so let's talk now about photo period, which is the other important factor that is related to light intensity, of course. So what you see from the lighting programs of the Geneticas, they're always telling you so many lux, so many hours of light, so many hours of darkness, or even with poultry, pullets or chickens, it's always very important to give high light intensities to get them know their surroundings and that they immediately can find feed and water. And then afterwards, they will decreasing the light intensity according to the light program of the to stimulate a growth, development, and so on. And then again, to give them a high light stimulus, for instance, in layers to come into production. So all this to get it in the right way, well, you need a good light intensity, the right light distribution according to the light fixture. So simulating daylight, so dimming is very important because then you can simulate sunrise and sunset. And with that, you can also make the hours of light longer because the photo period is a period in a day that animals are exposed to light. So if that would be natural light or else artificial lighting. So it doesn't matter if you have an open house, make sure that you are having the enough amount of light in the full house or with all animals to get uniform performances. As well, if you are having a complete closed house, that artificial lighting plays even a more important role because you need to simulate that daylight, okay? So you see, I think it's important to read here the 7 ways that a good light cycle helps in animals. So regulating sleep patterns, influencing feeding habits, hormonal regulation, enhancing reproductive cycles. That is because if you give always a light period and a dark period, they can have a good rest. And that is what stimulates their normal day and night rhythm in a more natural way. With that, you optimize growth and productivity. You can reduce the stress because they will feel calmer, they will perform better, enhancing comfort as well. And then you see that your practical light management strategies can work in a better way to get good results. So it is very important to allow and, of course, to synchronize the activities as well as the feeding of the animals. So, dimmability. Dimming the lighting prepares livestock for the day's activities. And here, as I was saying, to simulate natural daylight, so you need to simulate sunrise, sunset, and that this goes with dimming lighting, with artificial lighting, you can do that. You need as well a smooth flicker-free dimming. What I mean with that is that you get a deep dim curve so that with animals, it's common to do a dimming for sunrise between 5-15 minutes. And then the sunset perhaps making a bit longer. With poultry, goes also within 10-15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, but with other kind of animals can last even an hour. Just that you prepare animals to go for a good rest, and as well giving the correct light intensities when going higher and lower light intensities, and avoiding flicker free is also very important to decrease stress. And with that, they will also feel better. You prevent that sudden stress of putting the lights 100% on and then off, because that always creates a little bit of a stress, or to adapt correctly to completely darkness when coming from very high light intensity. So with that, you also prevent increase of heart rate and energy usage, and that stimulate a more desired behavior. So it is also important when you dim the lights that there is no flicker-free occurring. Of course, some animals are more sensitive to the others, for sure. In poultry, be assured by measuring lighting that there is no flicker in your lights, because that always creates a stress. With cattle and pigs or horses or the kind of flock, then it's less important, but still it can influence in their well-being in different ways. Now, benefits of good lighting. As we see, an optimal light climate reduces the stress. Here we will learn, what is the optimal light climate and how do we get to it? Because yes, I'm saying you get a wider light spectrum to simulate daylight, meaning a really white light, so no monochromatic light. It is having the best colors that each animal can perceive to increase vision, with that meaning good color of light, a good CRI, the flicker-free, that you can dim the lights to simulate a sunrise and sunset, and that you have a good design of your light fixture that optimizes the light distribution, so the light intensity that you want to reach is really reaching at the right place. And with that, animals will feel better with a right light cycle as well. You improve their natural behavior and performances. And with that, you are avoiding undesired behavior. That can be high activity in poultry packing, or in general, the animals are not eating, are getting ill, and so on. So that increases the non-desired behavior in the farm with stress. If you take that away, animal will feel better, and those calories getting from the feed when you get an optimal FCR will stay there and will improve growth, and with that you will see a better productivity. So that is really the formula that everyone wants to get, but you need to look into all the factors, and light is really one essential factor in your farm. So don't underestimate it. Really look at it in the different aspects of lighting that influence on an optimal light climate. Now, we go to light distribution. We have here another poll. The question is, what do you understand by light distribution? Again, a single choice. So since A, it is measured in lux levels, B, the way that light spreads across a given area, or C, a graphic representation of the luminous intensity measurement of a luminaire or a lamp. So you may choose on your device with a poll popping up on your screen what is the correct answer. Okay, so majority has answered. We'll see that B would be the right definition of light distribution. So the way that light spreads across a given area. Because what is measured in lux level is light intensity. And light intensity is correlated with light distribution. Then we can get a good light climate to reach the right light intensity that we need. A graphic representation, that would be the distribution curve of the beam angle. We will see it in the next slides. So good lighting stimulates animal performance. And saying good light distribution is the right amount of lights in the right area in the house. That can help you to improve animal vision, to stimulate feed intake, decrease stress, improve animal welfare, and a stimulated production. So as we have been saying here with previous slides, for instance, in pigs, a major role in stimulating sow fertility. It can also help to reduce when to serve interval. It also allows a proper and uniform sexual maturation, also correct socialization. In poultry have seen, of course, what good light intensities can help with a good light distribution to get as well better uniform results, and sexual stimulation. With cows, dairy cattle also stimulates milk production, can also decrease head stress, and many other factors. In general, for livestock, improves animal well-being and performances. So we have here another poll. Factors in light distribution. Which factors determine or define light distribution? This is a multiple choice question, so you may choose 1, 2, 3, all of them, where you think the factors that define light distribution. Is it light intensity, type of light fixture, type of lights, of lamps, angle of light output, placement of light fixtures, or reflective surfaces? You might choose the right answer. Okay. So you will see that all of them define light distribution except or of option A. So light intensity is apart. So it is the lux levels that you want to reach. That does not determine light distribution. So that what determines is the type of light fixtures that depends on the design of the lamp, how the beam angle and shapes of light output is out of that lamp. Placement of light fixtures, that means where you will install the lights, how high or how low, the distance between the lamps, the distance between the lines, depending on the type of housing that you have, that you need to think where to install the lights to maximize or optimize the light distribution. Angle of the light output, of course, narrow angles provide a more focused beam, meaning that it gives you more light intensity at certain point, and wider angles has more illuminance, more coverage of the area, but with lower light intensities. So the angle of the light output is also very important. And of course, reflective surfaces, because imagine a broiler house, complete blackout, that is very dark, so that absorbs a lot the reflection of the light. So it is not so a good reflection. So with a white of lighter walls or ceiling, the brightness can be more reflected. So that will help to have, for instance, less number of lamps. So we go to the next one to see what means the light spread, so the beam angles. Here we have different designs of lamp. This is all from HATO, but you can compare with others that are in the market. This is more similar to a traditional bulb. The first one to your left with E27 fits. That is the kind of beam angle, light distribution that it has. And then in the middle, we have a specific developed lamp for cage housing. You see there's a completely different design from a traditional LED bulb. It's not tubular, it's not vertical, it's not only like a round bulb, but it's a bit more elongated. And that is how the LEDs are situated inside the lamp, that gives you a different light distribution, a different beam angle. You see it's more to the sides, but also in the middle, that is giving you certain light intensities. With that, bringing as well more comfort to birds that are located in cage housing, and kind of H type of housing. And then to the other side, we see two different kind of lamps. One is tubular, and the other is like a half circle, that also maximize the distribution, that is giving you that light intensity in a more wider area, covering more or having more illuminance in the area, which is good as main lighting. So that's think about floor housing, or also in houses like cattle or pigs, when you want to cover more illuminance. So that is what it is important to take into account, the design of the lamp. So don't think that one light fixture will be okay for all different applications, that you will get the same light intensity just by putting a higher light intensity at 100% and then dimming it down, that you will get the right approach. So it is important to consider that as light distribution. Then we go to the next slide. Here I have now several examples on the different applications, why a design of a lamp is like that compared with others, and what is the results that you get out of it. In this one, we see an example research test done in a cage housing for poultry. We see this kind of lamp that I was telling you, that we compare with other brands, with other traditional bulbs. Or is it vertical, tubular, or is it just a standard E25 fit? We see that the maximum value closest to the cage with other brands is 284 lux, while the average lux, it is 58 lux. And you see the light spread, it goes more to the ground directly, so it's creating more brighter spots and darker spots as well in between the lamps. While with the HATO Sterna, specifically developed for cage housing, we see a maximum lux value of 152, so already 100 lux less than the others, and an average lux of 68 lux. And you see, so that the light spread goes more to the sides. It has also a block in the two sides of the lamp that gives more comfort to the birds, which are facing the faces of the birds, and it's not too bright for them. So that allows them to go to the feeder line, which is very important to stimulate a feed intake. And it is also decreasing that brighter spots and darker spots between the lights. You see the spread of the light is more to the sides, not too intense either, and it goes to every tier, decreasing the gap of having very high lux level at the top tier and very low to the bottom of the tier. So it is a more average light intensity that we can reach between the different tiers, and with that we also increase uniform performances. So that is also very important to consider. We see here as well another test result with improved egg production, where we have seen really what the results that you get when you improve in the light uniformity. Here we are comparing two types of lamps. Again, one vertical and one horizontal. We see the vertical, which is the blue line, being more uniform than the horizontal. It is not so uniform and decreases on the light distribution. So that is with those other kind of lamp, like with the Sterna. With Sterna, we even see better results that we can share with you if you would like to know more about our Sterna. But here you see a difference of 2.6% increase in laying percentage when you have a better light spread of the light intensity, and as well increasing in uniformity. We have a light plan. Therefore, it is very important that the light supplier gives you a light plan or gives you the right light installation according to their knowledge. You know that they have developed dedicated lighting solutions for the different livestock farms according to the needs of the animal, knowing where is the higher light intensity needed, that needs to be dimmable, that you are able to dim the light intensity according to the light programs that the Genetica is providing. So we take all these factors into account. We have all that knowledge in our software, and we will give you a light plan that suits the best to the characteristics of each barn, because one farm is never the same to the other. So we need to know the dimensions of the barn, the systems that are in the barn, what might be blocking when installing the lights, so that we know that we are not creating shadows, that there's not disturbing with feeders or other equipments in the farm, so that you reach really the right light intensity at the right place. So in this case, you see here is the 3D drawing of the cage housing, and you see that the lamps are located like in UV form, so that the light intensity reaches every tier, and we increase as well uniformity and decrease that gap between the different tiers. Then you will get the media of the lux levels that you reach in that area, as well what do you reach in the first tier, third tier. We have some reference panels that you have an idea. So when you do the measurements as well of your lighting density, you know what you're getting. You will get the coordinates of the lamps where should be located, so to assure you that you achieve that optimal light climate. And you see here as well different colors. For instance, this is a cage housing. The standard is about 40 lux in average to reach. Some others use 30 lux. We also hear of listen what are your practices, and we adjust to that if that is working good for you. It's just that we see the general picture. So not only that light intensity, but all optimal light climate. And there you will see it, what is the average. So in this case, it's here in between the orange and green, 30, 50, and then you'll see the colors here that it is all uniform. So not different light intensities in between. The same we see in floor housing. In poultry, when you have the nest in the middle of the house, the slats and the activity area to the sides of the house. So what we want to reach is here in the corner inside this yellow square, that you have this differentiation, that you are creating this light climate from darker to more illuminance from the nest to the activity areas, and that in a uniform way, and not randomly, like you see above, that you have different lux levels of light intensity. When you have in the activity area, you can reach 20 lux, for instance, if you see in the up corner of 34, 31, that is quite similar to the nests or to the slats, and that is why you create floor eggs. And you are not teaching your animals or your hens to go to the nest, so to get a more optimal usage of the system. Here in this corner inside the square, you see more or less 15 to 20% difference from the nest, very low lux level. Then you increase a bit with two slats, and then more illuminance in the activity area. Again, here is how you will install your lights. We can see it in the next slide with the light plan. We will know that the nest is located in the middle of the house, and then you see the illuminance differs. So you have more orange red in the middle, so lower light intensities, and more green to the sides, more illuminance. So the lights, the line of lights are located to the sides of the house. And even if you need 2, 4, you can even the external lines dim apart from the internal lines. With that, you can also learn your birds how to use the system. Here are some examples of the results on a broiler breeder house from a testimonial. I invite you to have a look in our HATO YouTube channel. We have the full video of the testimonial there to understand how these results were reached. So you see just from experience, and what they the big challenge that they had was the floor eggs. So they decreased that with 25%. And besides that, they really achieve a greater uniformity in birds and a higher pig production. So it is other side effects that increases productivity, even if you only focus on one of the challenges that you might have in the farm. On the aviary, lighting is also very important to learn your birds how to use the system to avoid floor eggs. Here you have as well different light fixtures, different designs. depending where you will install the lights, what you want to reach. So if you want that the birds go into the system, then you have here the tubular LEDs with less lighting densities of, let's say, less power. So it's not too brilliant to attract the birds into the system. You need, of course, the main lighting because with aviaries, birds have free mobility. So you need good illuminance in the corridors, alleys, and for sure if they have access underneath the system. With that, you will avoid a floor X. And some of them use the perch lighting. That can be some light fixtures, not as many as in your corridors, but just one every two systems, for instance, just to attract the birds to go to the top of the system. And this, every light zone you can dim to have a good management of your flock. So being dimmable and be able to dim apart, that can help you to have this extra tool to manage animal behavior. We have a very nice video where you can see that. We will play it right now. And you see that indeed the light climate is a very essential part of the overall climate in poultry farms or in livestock farms. So here in aviaries, you see how birds go into the system. Even the most disoriented bird will go into it when you have the right light distribution and you know how to dim your lights, you will achieve this. Right, so if you have any questions, don't forget that you have the chat box there. Leave it, put your comments in there, come back to you at the end of the presentation or answer your questions as well. We will have some room if you have the time, you can stay after the presentation. All right, so now we'll show you an example on uniform light distribution in broilers. Here is again creating equal living condition along the house. We see here examples that of this bad distribution. In the first drawing, that can create huddling, smothering, that also leads to wet litter, foot lesions, and breast blisters. And that, of course, will increase mortality. And that is something that you don't want to have in your barn. And that is due to having this a lot of bright areas and dark areas in the house consistently, meaning that you have those lines of light giving a more narrow beam angle and higher light intensity at a certain area. And then in between the lights, you are having very dark zones. And with that, of course, they will pile in a certain point and that you get this undesired behavior. And the other side, we have also lights that can be very brilliant, and those are located above the feeders. Then, of course, the bullets of the chickens will not go to that area. And then they will look for another that is not too bright, and then you can get even competition of feed and water. So again, it's not only to look into the average looks level, but if it is really getting the right lighting densities in place. When you have a more even light distribution, as I was saying, with those lights fixtures that maximizes or gives you a wider spread angle of the light output, then you don't get some very high lighting densities, and it's more spread in the area. With that, you can achieve a better light distribution, more uniform if the lights are correctly installed, of course. So considering the reflection of the walls, if these are lighter or darker, if it's too dark, you might need an extra line of lamps or more lamps into the line, different when you will have lighter walls. And all these things needs to be considered to have a good installation. So we see here the light plan again. when we want to reach, if it is 40 lux in a broiler house in average for a good uniformity, then you see it is all in the green area, or is it with this 3D drawing when models draws where the lights will be installed. Then, of course, depends on the region. If it is uniform lighting, what we are looking for, what is the type of house, if it is no cage housing in the broiler house, or if you are using just the half of the house first, middle of the house first, and then extending as from there growing the chickens. But we can adapt that light plan according to your practices and as well to the type of house and dimensions. So you see here how is the same house, but with different light fixtures. So this is a standard one when the thing, we have a big lamp that should be good enough. It's giving light and that's it. But it's not considering an optimal light climate. We see that the beam angle is not the best because you get a lot of the light spread to the ceiling and not reaching the ground, where is what we need a good lighting density on bird eye level. And with the others, is the other half moon light fixture, where the big angle is more optimal. We get as well a nicer environment. We'll see more uniformity. Also, the color of the light is good, and that all will influence on a more natural behavior, better performances, and you will see at the end better results. So it's not only about thinking on saving cost because, we have already LEDs or the fluorescents are doing good because it came from other type of lamp and already having saving costs, it is cheaper. This is an investment, but you will see the return of investment in 1 year, less or a year and a half, depending on the type of livestock, how is the cycle, production cycle. But for sure, you will get the investment, but also because you will see better performance and increased productivity in many ways. Here is another interesting research. This is a Tyson research on talking about broilers. Different light intensities positively influence chicken behavior. Here is what they call gradient lighting against having 20 lux uniform lighting. That, as such, depends on the region because this is a research that is going on in the USA. We as HATO and other light suppliers are working hard on this kind of new results, looking into the welfare of the animal and how can this improve results as well, as they have seen an increased activity that encourages behaviors like dust fatting and for aging, reduce health issues in 30%, a decline in number of birds killed due to leg problems, a better growth metrics, 2.2% improved FCR due to higher daily weight gains, and of course a cost-effective solution, healthy broilers that grow more efficiently, reducing energy consumption, to overall time to market. That is as well because this kind of lights, that this gradient lighting is not installed in the main as main lighting in the ceiling. These are installed above the feeder lanes. So that creates a different environment. But that is something that will not be applied, for instance, in Europe, because here we have certain regulations that requires uniform lighting. The same with other areas or regions in the world. So right now, this research is ongoing on the USA, and it's giving very good results. But we will come to it. If you have any interest, again, contact us and we can give you more details about it. Here we have an example of light distribution in dairy cattle, where we have seen as well that higher lighting densities in the right areas increases milk production. In the previous session, we were talking more about colored lighting, and there it was the big impact, because that is more about having the blue in it in this white light. Here, if you have more questions, contact us because we have given that session already. We will come back anyway along the year or next year with this topic. We have several white papers and knowledge articles in our website that you can check on the information. But here it's just about the light intensity and distribution. So if you see the farm, you have here the feed area on the beige zone. Then in the darker brown, you have the walkways, lay boxes, which or the resting area on the brown squares, and the gray square is the feed area. So there are different lighting densities. Well, the old situation, they were having lights that were on off 100% all the time, with different not so uniform lighting densities, but as well saying where does it matters. So with the new HATO situation, having dimming light, with even only white light, they have seen already an improve in productivity, and that the cows were calmer. That stimulates a more natural behavior, stimulates feed intake when the good lighting density was reached at the feeder lane, and also less intense into the resting areas, but already more or higher lighting densities that we're having in the previous house. That leads to very good results. When you apply even the right color of light with a broad light spectrum, this focus more on the cool blue light, there was even more better performance, not only on higher lighting density and good light distribution, but also color of light. With that, you increase daily milk production per cow. It was from 1.2 kilo to 2.3 kilos, more or less, meaning from 3.5% up to 7%. And we have seen in several other trials in the Netherlands, in Pakistan, in China, that it can go up to 14% increase. And then you see, of course, increase in profits. And well, in average, with a 7% milk production increase, you can get the return of investment in 12 months. And besides, of course, the cost and the profits, it is also that benefit on practicals increase the work yoke of the farmer and improves cow behavior, because they feel better, stress, they have a good rest because we give the right photo period, light cycle of 16 hours daylight of artificial light with 8 hours of darkness. And with that, they have a good rest. And that even was shown that cows can come to the milking robot even with the lights off. It's just how they feel. So cows lays down better as well, and in the boxes. And it was also more daytime calf deliveries. So you see that you can improve in well-being of the animal and behavior. Here we have an example on pig lighting, where we have a non-optimal environment of a farm, that it has no light fixtures. There's only some entry of daylight where the windows are, but of course animals are located along the farm, and there were very dark areas where there is no window and no light entering there, so very low lighting densities. In pigs, we know that they're afraid of shadows, so you don't need to create those bright and dark spots, because that creates a lot of stress. And they can adapt good in darkness, so piglets can be very active in dark as well. So you need to provide a good light cycle, and again, good light distribution. So you see, when you put extra light fixtures in there to create a more optimal light climate, more luminosity, and of course, more lamps where you need it. In case of pigs, in gestation, service area, and hills is what it matters to have very high lighting densities, 200 lux, 150 lux in average, and give again a good photo period depending on the phase of the cycle. is between 16 hours of light in gestation service area, or hills 8 hours of light, but depending where you will install the lights, and not too high, but that the light intensity really gets on the head of the saw to stimulate them, to get this high stimulus for to get them on heat, and also to increase fertility. In the case of the above picture, so we have besides the graph, I don't know if you are able to see it, but what mainly says is when they were not having lights, there was decreasing in non-productive days year by year. When they decide to put extra lights in those dark areas, so just a light fixture, not specifically for pigs, but just giving more light, meaning higher lighting, this and more light spreads in the barn, then this period of non-productive days from 9.9 days was reduced to 3.7 non-productive days. So again, they earn more, about 3,700 euros saved by putting more lights in it. So it is very important that you consider the full light climate in the house. We have learned along these sessions what are the 8 key aspects of light. We will talk in the next one about flicker lighting. We have had that topic in the past, but it is a very interesting topic, and we get a lot of questions. It's quite complicated to explain that, but we will learn in the next one. So thank you for your time. We have exceeded a little bit of the time, so hope you have enjoyed it, and your comments in the box. We will come back to you. If you have the time, we can discuss it now. Otherwise, you'll send me an email. You all will get a follow-up email with some resources in regards to this presentation. And just remember, an optimal light climate is adapted, animal adapted lighting that optimizes sight, and that will stimulate natural and desired behavior in the house. And that you will see reflected in better farm results. So just get to know that. Let's see if there are some questions. My colleague Rajit can help me with that, if there is something to say. Otherwise, I thank you for your attention.